What's good with it, YouTube? It's Convict's Perspective. It's your boy Flacco. I got a special guest here, the legendary.
On the phone, take it off. There you go.
There you go. The legendary Sundown.
Legendary.
Hey, your boy Rojo's here too, man. I just can't fit in the picture.
Yeah, Rose in the picture, man. So, how you doing, Sundown?
I'm doing good, brother.
Man, it's good to see you, man. This is the OG right here, man. The one you guys read his book, The Thief on the Cross, man. Please support that. Check out the book,
I
man.
appreciate that. Yeah.
You know, he's been on stories written by a current prisoner, and now you get to see the handsome young face of a 64-year-old man.
66.
Of 66, man.
This is what Gladiator School did for me.
That's right.
So, you know, a lot of people have been asking a lot of questions, man, about Corny, right?
Yeah.
You know, they've asked other people's channels, they've done profiles on them. You know, Rojo's had a little bit of experience with Corny back in the day. But you knew Corny before he even got recruited when he was a kid, man.
I was there with him in Tracy, when he drove up, and you know, he was just a youngster. He was just a kid. He was a killer. Yeah, he was a kid.
What was the story about him being recruited into the NF?
Well, they had just taken the NFL off the line, right? And behind that racial riot thing where that idiot AB guy says he ran 7 guys off he was a liar. Yeah, I was there with him too. I was there with him. You know?
Michael Thompson?
Yeah, that he's a nut. Anyway, so
we're gonna talk about that after this.
Yeah, he's a straight nutcase. Anyway, J-Cat. So Corny drives up. Well, this is what okay, so they take everybody off the line. They have a riot to take everybody off the line. Kiki's running around, the one Corny kills. Kiki's running around working with the police. He's an NF sympathizer. He's an NF sympathizer. And they're taking people and locking them up just on his word. You could have anybody locked up just on his word. Anyway, so word comes down I drive up. Me and Fargo was there. We were 2 brothers that were there undercover. You know, so we get the word to hit Corny. So
not Corny, you mean Kiki.
I mean Kiki. So we get the word to hit Kiki. So BGS supplies us with the pieces, and we got him in the kitchen, man. We got him. Oh, great, we're gonna get him. You know, it's he's at the door, kitchen door. He's leaning up against the kitchen door, and we got him. Nobody around. So here we come, me and Fargo. And just as about halfway to him, the police open the damn door, and he gets out. Right? so it's like, oh God. Anyway, so I get rolled up on another hit because there was another guy they wanted, and so Corny, they tell Corny, look, we want this kid out there. We want Kiki. So Kiki was a homosexual. Kiki was a homosexual. You know, and so my understanding is Corny played on his homosexuality. You know what I mean? Kiki, you know, come on into my cell and let me hit that. You know what I mean? So Corny was all about, yeah, sure, I'll come on in there and let you hit that. You know what I mean? Corny went on there and killed him. You know what I mean? So Corny kills Kiki, stuffs him up in the bunk, and he comes on out. And the reward for doing that was that you would become a brother. You know what I mean? For killing Kiki. Whoever killed Kiki, you know, anybody, you get to be a brother. Well, Corny was a brother, but he was undercover brother. You know, they didn't put it out that he was a brother yet. They kept him undercover. You know, and but that was how he got in. You know, he killed Kiki. Boy, he killed him good. You know, so Kiki thought he was gonna have him a little youngster inside there, and Corny went in there and handled his business.
Chopped him up.
Man.
What year was that? Probably what, late 70s?
That was 78.
So he must have been a young kid, like 19, 18.
78. Huh? Yeah. Corny was about 19 years old. Yeah, he was a kid, and didn't even look it. You know, he looked like just an average guy, nice, quiet guy, and I was really shocked when I heard it was him that did it. You know what I mean? I was like, what? Oh, it was that guy. But he played it perfect. You know, and the guys that were out there said what happened was that Kiki liked him. You know, and Kiki wanted him to come into the room with him, to cell with him. And Kiki wanted to hit that thing, so. That's what Corny played on. Yeah.
Yeah, Corny looked like a regular dude when I was in the Bay with him. Just fast forward 20 years.
Yeah.
I would have never thought it, but I knew who he was, and I read the paperwork.
That's a killer.
On that case.
That boy's a killer.
I read 2 of the things that he did. He shot me the paperwork about it when I was in the pod with him. He's like, look at this, youngster. I was like, oh, okay.
They put him on Sailor Boy, and they hit with Sailor Boy, and him and Poppy did that hit. and that was his second hit and his second kill. You know what I mean? And then he had to come out that he was a brother. You know what I mean? But that happened in West Hall. That one went down in West Hall. And he drove that rod down the top of Sailor Boy's head. Funny thing, Sailor Boy's walking down the stairs with this rod sticking out of his head, you know.
Yeah, he was still walking.
Yeah, he made it down the stairs and collapsed.
Oh, you know? Corny hit him.
Corny and Poppy. Yeah, they hit him. That was Corny's second kill, and so Corny was in. You know, everybody knew Corny was a brother by then. You know, so you know, they like to try to keep you undercover, but they kept me undercover for lots of times. You know, even though they bring me out, take me down, bring me out, take me down, because I half white, half Mexican.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was able to infiltrate the whites, find out what was going on there. You know, grow my hair out. You know, see, I got my hair, but and my beard and. What's up, brother? What's up, good white brother? You know what I mean? Yeah.
So there was a lot of sleepers back then.
Yeah, a lot of sleepers.
You know what I mean?
Bumpers was a sleeper. Danny Moore.
Yeah.
What was the point of that? To throw off the enemy?
Well, to infiltrate. Yeah, so, you know, so and it's, you know, also not only that, like I'd be like there'd be carnales talking and stuff like that, and they go into Spanish and talk in Spanish, and then they'd be shocked as all hell that I understood every word they were, and I talked back at them in Spanish, you know. But also for that, you know, so that kind of nobody knows who's who, you know, what's what, you know. But basically for the enemy, though, not so much for the carnales, but for the enemies, you know, to be able to infiltrate, you know, being from Southern California, being half white, half Mexican, I was able to infiltrate the Sureños from being from Southern California. I was able to infiltrate the whites from being half white, you know, so that's like what they would do. They would use you to the best of your ability, whatever you were. And if you were white, you know, they would keep you undercover as long as they could, you know, because, you know, you were able to find out a lot of information. Right?
Yeah, they didn't do that too much in my time. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I was like the whitest dude out of the homeboys that I had seen. You know what I mean? And it was just straight known right away who I was. You know, they didn't try to blend me in, which I was kind of surprised too.
Yeah, we had it was only like a few white guys that we got in, you know, pure white, and sorry to say that they misused them, you know. Shouldn't have used them on a couple of hits that they used them on. Like one guy was going home, and I think he had a couple of days to the pad, and they made him do a kill on there in F-wing. F-wing was the short wing, you know. If anybody was short to the pad, they were in F-wing.
Did he have some kind of get back that he had to perform, or just?
He was just he was there. I mean, you know, some of the guys that get in a leadership position, you know, you know, they need to go to school first or something, you know, because, you know, they just don't know what the hell they're doing. You know, they don't know how to utilize their manpower. I'm not saying all of them. I'm saying some. Right. You know, every now and then you get some guys that don't know what the hell they're doing. You know, and they end up causing more harm than good. You know, brothers that shouldn't have went on missions end up getting wasted and get life sentences, when you have brothers that could have went on missions and, you know, they were already going to be doing life anyway. You know what I mean? So it was just retarded, man.
Tibbs had told me about a guy named KC, a white guy.
Yeah, KC.
All white.
Yeah, KC was he was RSD under Bobo. He was the highest commanding white dude, because he was first captain, like equivalent of a first captain, because all the captains were stripped. You know what I mean? So there were no captains. There were just him as the top lieutenant under Bobo. And he ran Tracy. He was the one to tell you about the order to hit on Payaso.
Yeah.
You know, KC, the interesting thing about KC is that when I drove up to Vacaville, KC was there, and he was running Vacaville, trying his best to run Vacaville. And he takes me and he shows me the little weapon stock they got. So I'm able to school him while I'm there with him, right? I'm schooling him on what to do, what to look for, who should make hits, who shouldn't make hits. And we go our way. Next time I run into him, he's calling shots in West Hall. You know what I mean? I drive up and he's like embracing me, you know what I mean? Like, you know, he remembers that I'm the one that schooled him, you know what I mean? And so I was in the car then, you know what I mean? So he raised up, you know. I was surprised that they raised him up so fast. He was pretty intelligent. He was pretty intelligent. But the one thing I had against KC was that payaso hit. He never should have had payaso hit.
That's when they're recruiting kids from YA.
Yeah, yeah. You kill somebody for horseplay. Come on, man. That's just ridiculous.
It's an older man's game. That's the same mistake that I had, was joining so young. I was 19 as well.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even developed as a man yet, let alone to have those kind of expectations on me. I mean, I knew right and wrong.
Yeah.
But man, if I would have waited until I was like 30, my career probably would have been a lot better, just by life experience and maturity.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, man. Back when I drove, like I said, when I drove up, most of the NF were youngsters. A lot of them were youngsters. Little youngsters, but like when they got orders to hit, they hit. And San Jose car was running it pretty tough back then. A lot of the youngsters out of San Jose and Salinas. It's like if you came out of Salinas, you just came with a knife in your teeth. You know what I mean?
They're still like that.
Still like that, man.
So,
You know what I mean?
San Jose was like that. Back in the day, you'd know where somebody was from, whether white, brown, or black, or whatever they were, and that would tell you a lot about them. You know what I mean? Like, you knew that the Woods from Modesto, they were all right, but the Woods from Bakersfield were tough. You generally knew certain things about certain counties, right? Mexicans from Salinas, hey, watch out. San Jose, you had back then, you had some tough guys coming out of San Jose before it got kind of wishy-washy. But different little, you could tell just from where people came from, that they were naturally going to be hard. You know what I mean? And because that was the way of the body of the streets where they grew up in. And then like when somebody like me, like I happened to fall in Alameda County, and even though so like it was sundown from Oakland, right? Because if I'd have said sundown from Castro Valley, it would have been like, what? Castro Valley? Ooh, what's Castro Valley? What I mean? But even then, Oakland was where I fell, and then when I got out, Oakland was where I had my regiment. But yeah, generally it was like wherever you came from, people could generally tell a lot about you.
And where are you originally from?
I was born in Santa Maria, California. I was raised in Castro Valley, in the Bay Area. My home was in Castro Valley, but I was all over the Bay Area, So then when I got out the first time, my regiment was over in Oakland.
What year was this when you had the regiment out there?
I was in 75. I want to say late 75.
It's the year I was born.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh my
I
God.
was born in 75.
Talk about just making me feel old, brother. You just made me feel old. Oh my God. Yeah.
I'm 46 though. I'm not no baby or nothing,
Yeah.
But
Yeah, but you was young back then. You was like 20 back then, huh?
Yeah, I was young, man. I was young, dumb, and my life was, I wanted to be the greatest hitman that ever lived. When I was 17 years old, I wanted to be the greatest hitman that ever lived. I was saying earlier about how the difference is, like, we grew up in the culture of The Godfather. The movie The Godfather came out. And the reason why people swamped to the theater to see that is because, like, we were looking for that father figure, you know what I mean? And that organized crime thing. And that was so attractive to a lot of us, And that was attractive to us, I guess that's the way I could put it. And I grew up in that era, And nowadays, man, it's like, it's crazy, It's like the Pepsi Cola generation, I call them, It's like, we had things that we believed. What can you believe in nowadays? Stuff doesn't last more than 60 seconds.
what year did you join the NF?
I actually joined the NF. I was sitting back the other day and I was thinking about, when did you actually join the NF? 74. 1974. Yeah, 1974.
How was the recruitment process? Was it just like you were on probation period back then too?
Yeah. They had me on probation.
They give you the whole Constitution right away, or did they just give you parts of it?
Well, they had been slipping me parts of it before I even ever got in, right?
This was Bo, right?
Yeah, it was Hobo.
Hobo was your
Yeah,
sponsor?
no, Hobo was one of them. Hobo was my partner, man. You know what I mean? And he
Hobo's
was,
cool, man.
yeah,
I
Hobo
got
was
to meet
just,
him.
well, Hobo was way cool, man. You know Bo, come
Yeah,
on,
I know
man.
Bo. Bo's a good
Anyway,
dude.
so he was running the block where I was, and he would pull me up and say, "Look at that." And he'd show me a report he was sending in, right? A little mini writing. We made $350 this week in heroin. We should make a lot more, like that. And it was too. So you see that like that, and I was like, "Wow, yeah, that really impressed me." Yeah, yeah. So, and then warehouse reports and all that other stuff like that. And he was just impressing me, And he said, "Hey, check this out. This is the Constitution." And I'd read the Constitution. So I pretty much read the whole Constitution before I ever even got in, you know. And I saw the potential. I mean, what I saw was potential. I says, I was already a criminal. This was the lifestyle that I had chosen, and now I can get out and I can be Michael Corleone. You know what I mean? I could have soldiers. And yeah, hell yeah, sign me up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was down with it. And the way I got in, it just so happened that stuff happened where the dude sold out a soldier. One of the lieutenants sold out a soldier for some heroin, and I wanted to kill him, and I got to. So that was my price of admission, and that was what I said. Look, you guys want me, and they wanted me, they wanted me, and I said, look, my price of admission is, this guy's got to go, and if you guys don't want to do it, let me do it.
I got a good one right now. Question for you, right?
Uh,
So you watched the Michael Thompson interview,
yeah, that clown, yeah.
and you were present at that institute when he was there.
Yeah, I was there with him, man. That guy is an idiot.
So
Uh,
what happened? What's he talking about?
what happened was they had the racial riot between the Mexicans and 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 the whites, and it was over some gambling tables. Yes, there was some gambling tables involved. Indians got gambling table, and somebody went over and said, "Well, we want a percentage now of your gambling tables." Some idiot. Anyway, so they got into it one day they attacked some border brothers, and one,
The whites did.
yeah, one, they attacked like three or four border brothers, and one NF guy was actually there, you know so only one actual NF member actually was attacked, and that's what kicked off the whole thing, right? So the police freaked out. They slammed it, you know what I mean? And so all of a sudden, that one little incident on the yard turned into 5,000 white guys taking the bats to the NF, and driving them off the yard, which never happened. You know what I mean? Legends and shit. You know what I mean? And
Well, he said that. He said in his interview that they put him in the cafeteria. Seven guys came at him in the cafeteria.
come on, there weren't 7 Mexicans left on the yard. Kiki got through telling on everybody. Yeah. But yeah, I was there. I remember Michael Thompson. He was there. He was a J Cat, man. Now the dude's dangerous. Don't get me wrong. The dude's a nut. He's a J Cat, and he did kill. And he probably would still kill. But all that crap never happened, man. When, where? Yeah.
This was in Quentin?
This was in Tracy.
Tracy.
Yeah. Now the crazy thing was he talks about that was I had a run in with the California Brotherhood. Now they were the ones that formed after they took the NF off the yard and shit like that. They tried to take credit for we ran the NF. Nobody ran the NF off anywhere. They got told on and locked up. You know what I mean? And even as they were getting locked up, they were stabbing white guys. And so and they couldn't even walk a white guy to R&R without somebody trying to hit him. So it wasn't like that. It was not like that, man. And I'm not saying that for glory for the NF or anything like that. I'm saying that they put too much chili on the hot dog, man. Way too much chili on the hot dog.
What's California Brotherhood?
It was a bike group supposedly, right? And like one day they started growing in numbers, and we're watching them, and like they're rolling like they're running something, and so they try to get at me, right? And they got 2 guys try to hit me. I'm on the 3rd tier,
I fucked them up. Excuse my language. I messed them up. And dropped their knives running and everything else. There was 8 of them in my block. And by the time we get down to the first tier, after chasing them from the third tier all the way down, they're all 8 of them are all huddled up together. You know what I mean? And I'm like, now I got their knives, and I'm like, yeah, there's 8 of them. All right, I think this is the end of it. You know what I mean? And so later on that afternoon, on the yard, me, 10 Mexicans, and 75 blacks surrounded them. You know what I mean? Boom, just surrounded them on the yard. You know, and there was like 30 of them. You know, and so it was like over 100 of us. We surrounded them and told them, hey, that's it, man. You guys run around here, you know, banding and acting like you guys are running shit and all that other crap. We just want to be a bike club. That's all. We just want respect. We're just a bike club. We want to be a bike club. Well, you ain't got no motorcycles back here. You know what I mean? You know, so you know, it was, you know, they were just told cease and desist. You know, and that was the BGF. You know, I went out there with my little 10 Mexicans and 75 blacks. You know, thank God for the BGF, because we'd have been outnumbered. You know.
All right, guys, this is our first episode. This is your boy Flacco, man. With Sundown, we're going to shoot a couple other videos, guys, for you guys right now as well.